about anybody out there should have some curiosity on this subject. If you're in any arena related to agriculture, we've got quite a lineup. Abby Taylor-Silva with the Grower Shipper. We also have our good friend Norm Groot with the Farm Bureau. Want to give a shout out to Karen Stallman. She's with the Ag Commissioner's Office and handles specifically pesticide use. So we're going to start here in just a few minutes. Come on in and join the fun. Grab another helping of coffee. When this panel's over, we've got one more, and then we have our lunch break. So this is going to be fun. Buckle up. Your panelists want to just have a seat there and get comfortable. Yeah, something like that. It's, our big comfortable living room here. All right, we want to see our blue jackets in here. Where's our FFA? Come on down. Okay. Maybe just a couple of quick words. Our sponsors, we want to thank Hudson, Martin, Witten, June, also the good people at Ramsey Highlander and the city of Gonzales. We want to give special thanks to Gonzales and Salinas High FFA. Our host, Converted Organics, they've done a great job. I understand Soledad FFA may have made an appearance as well, which is great. I certainly appreciate that. This is good for 4.5 hours of continuing education for you out there that have your QAL, QAC, or PCA. Okay, so we'll go ahead and jump on in. I'm going to introduce our moderator today. She's a great friend, no stranger to the agriculture industry as she ran Ag Against Hunger. She's currently with the Grower Shipper Association, and I'll tell you, she's hip deep in regulation. And she's looking out for growers, processors, shippers, producers. Please help me in welcoming our moderator, and that's Abby Taylor-Silva.
All right, good morning, everyone. I'm Abby Taylor-Silva. As Steve said, a lot of what I do is in regard to regulations, so not only in regard to learning and then educating our members about it, but also hoping to influence regulation. And a lot of the work that I do is specifically related to water and food safety, although our organization also works in pesticide use and many other avenues, including sustainability and labor and things like that. So it's definitely my pleasure to be here today, as this is a topic that's near and dear to all of us. So I wanted to quickly, let's go ahead and start with our first panelist, but just so that you know who we have on our panel, we have Jeannette Witten, and Jeannette is with Hudson, Martin, Witten, and June. We also have Karen Stallman, and Karen is the Chief Deputy of Pesticide Use for the Monterey County Agricultural Commissioner's Office. And we have Norm Groot, and Norm is with Monterey County Farm Bureau. Today I see that we have a lot of FFA students here as well, and so I think as you're listening to these presentations, you're going to hear a lot about changes in the industry and what's up and coming and what is at the forefront of how ag is changing throughout Monterey County, but also throughout the state of California, and nationally and internationally for that matter. So as you're looking to build your career in agriculture, I think you're going to hear from some people who can give you some really fine-tuned advice about what's going to be hot and important in the next 5 and 10 and further years. So we're going to go ahead and start with Karen. And a little bit of background on Karen is she is the Chief Deputy Agricultural Commissioner with Monterey County Agricultural Commissioner's Office, where she's managed the pesticide use enforcement program since March of 2006. Prior to coming to Monterey County, Karen served as an enforcement branch liaison in the California Department of Pesticide Regulation for 25 years, assisting commissioners with the pesticide enforcement programs in Monterey, Santa Cruz, San Benito, and San Mateo, and also San Luis Obispo counties. She began her career in the detection branch of the California Department of Food and Agriculture, working first on the urban grid survey in the San Francisco Bay Area, and later as a med fly trapper. She graduated from the University of California at Davis, go Aggies, with a Bachelor's of Science in Agricultural Education. Please help me welcome Karen Stallman.
Thanks, Abby. So I spent my career in government, and that's what I'm going to talk to you about. In government, sometimes regulations can seem kind of dry, but it's really important. The size and diversity of agriculture in California has made it a huge challenge to enforce pesticide laws and regulations. However, California, despite that, leads the nation in regulating pesticides. So the way that happens is because of the unique relationship between the federal government, the state, and the county agricultural commissioner's offices. The federal government has jurisdiction over the laws that deal with pesticides, but they're very specific that the federal government regulates what's on the pesticide label. So sometimes you hear the label is the law. Well, that's federal law. The government allows state and local governments to enact stronger regulations and laws that might be stronger than what's on the label, provided they do not try to change any pesticide labels, because they don't have that authority and jurisdiction. However, the California laws are built in such, and they state that only California, only the state has authority to enact any pesticide laws or regulations governing pesticide use, transportation, storage, manufacture, sales. So although local agencies are here, we do not have authority by state law to ban pesticides in the county, and a lot of times we get the public and other people telling us, you know, you're the county, you're Ag Commissioner's office, you're over pesticides, why can't you ban pesticides? Well, because state law says that we can't do that. However, it does give us some jurisdiction, and it gives us jurisdiction over restricted materials. We can apply local conditions to the use of restricted materials. In California, in order to apply a restricted material, you have to come to my office to get a permit. And through that permit system, we regulate how it can be used at the local level. We're here, the state regulators are in different parts of the state, and they don't understand what it's like here. So we need people who know agriculture here so that we can understand how you can best use these pesticides and keep, our mission is to protect public, to protect people, to protect workers, and to protect the environment, but also to protect agriculture. And we want to make sure that we can have continued use of pesticides that are needed in order to continue to grow crops here. Steve asked me to talk about our role in the past and how it's changed in the future. Since most of our regulations come from the state, there is also a caveat in the law that allows commissioners in local jurisdictions to adopt regulations to meet local concerns, but it's under the authority of the state. So we don't just do it by ourselves. We have to do it through the state, and it's under their authority that we do that. And in Monterey County, way back in the 1970s, we're having some problems with, our crops here are different than anywhere else in the state, or in most places, because we have a lot of hand labor. And we were having problems with field workers. They were using organophosphate pesticides, and they were entering fields early, and they had no way of knowing when the pesticide had been sprayed on the field and when to go in. So Monterey County, after a series of hearings, adopted a posting regulation that was specific to our county that requires any pesticide that has a 24-hour reentry interval, any danger pesticide, that they have to post the field before the pesticide is applied, and that workers can't enter any posted field. So the state has a law that's similar to that, but it's only if the pesticide has a 7-day reentry interval. Here it's 24 hours. So that was something that we were able to adopt based on local conditions at that time. Well, as time has gone on, we still have that regulation, and we still find it very effective. At other areas in the state, whatever happens in Monterey County, eventually will happen somewhere else as far as what's going on and who's adopting what kind of technology. And as was mentioned earlier, we are the leaders in agriculture in the state. Our produce is goes everywhere. And part of my office that has nothing to do with pesticides deals with exports and making sure that we can export our commodities. But anyway, back to pesticides. I think in the past, pesticide regulation has been, for the most part, reactionary. Something would happen, and then we would have to do something. But as time has gone on and science has gotten so much better, we can look for things and look for chemicals at lower amounts. People are concerned about chemicals. What does it do to me? What's it going to do to my children? We want to know the effects to people who are handling pesticides. So the laws have gone from being more reactive to reacting to something happened and now we need to do something to protect people, to let's look at the science and figure out how to not have a problem. And I think as we continue, it will continue on that basis. Although we have this local authority here, we have to base, we don't have scientists in my office. You know, I have a staff of inspectors who do inspections, we do compliance monitoring, we do issue permits, we do 100% use reporting, we collect a lot of data. If anybody ever gets sick from a pesticide, we go out and investigate it. We collect data for the Department of Pesticide Regulation from those investigations. They use that information to maybe craft regulations to prevent that in the future, but we don't have the scientists here. You know, my staff are not scientists, they're biologists, and they do regulations, they enforce laws and regulations. So we look more and more to the state to come up, because they employ the scientists who come up with this data that we need to apply to what's happening in the field. I think fumigants have been a huge issue here for many, many years, and the science just keeps getting refined, and they figure out different ways to protect people and to protect the environment. Things change. First, we looked at acute exposures. Then we looked at subchronic exposures. Then we looked at chronic exposures. So the way regulations are changing is they're becoming more taking a look at the big picture rather than the small picture. Let's see. As far as where we're going, more and more people want to know that right to know. Where they talked this morning about our handheld devices and collecting data. We've become, it used to be we did everything by paper, and now it's all electric. It's electronic. It's in the cloud. We're capturing all this data. People want to know exactly, they want to know who handled their celery. They want to know, be able to trace that back. And as technology evolves, it seems to be that my office's job to collect that pesticide use data. And we've converted from in-house collection to a cloud-based, to statewide. It's more and more this data wants to be shared statewide instead of just at local levels. So the state's involved. They're now implementing they call it CalPEDS. It's a tracking system to collect all the enforcement data. Every time my inspectors go out and do an inspection and they find a non-compliance, they want to collect all that data and have it available statewide. People want to be able to go on the internet and see what was used in this county, how much was used, and so we continue to have that data collection.
Karen,
Mm-hmm.
is that available to anybody or just people employed by the government?
Well, they're just in we don't have that system in place. They're just they're developing it. So, and we aren't even to the testing phase. They're still trying to figure out how to capture, because every county has captured it differently, and now they're trying to do it uniformly. So it's going to be a while, but we'll be working on it.
Thanks.
I think the availability of this information, and we used to look at worker safety, and in the 80s and 90s, we had the right to know laws, where workers who are being exposed to something have the right to know. Well, now I see that residents and consumers and everybody wants to know what they could possibly be exposed to, and that is driving regulations and laws. I think as time goes on, we're going to continue to have pesticide regulation at the county level. It's been so successful. Other states have maybe 5 inspectors for the whole state. In California, we have the counties and the county ag commissioners, and we have at least 280 inspectors who inspect pesticide use. And in order to ensure that some of the programs and laws and regs are being followed, we have to go out in the field and take a look. So our department, as with in many other industries in California, we're getting older and people are retiring, and so we're constantly looking for new people that we can hire who've gone to college, who have a degree in agriculture. That is so hard to find people with a degree in agriculture. I have a lot of people who apply for jobs that have biology degrees, but it's that person who's going to make a difference is the one who understands agriculture. They understand what's going on in the field and the grower, and I don't have to educate them all on that. I'm going to hire that person above somebody who just has a general science degree or a biology degree. So it's so important. I think that's it. Wonderful.
All right, so next